Hey, today I want to talk about something that I have never talked about, and it's kind of like, I don't really want to admit it, but I have to because it's me and I talk about things, so let's do it. Today I'm talking about not blaming everything on being trans. Now, that seems like obviously Chase, why are you blaming everything on being trans? That's not what I'm doing. I'm not like, the weather is cold because I'm trans. I didn't get an A+ because I'm trans. The cats don't like me because I'm trans. That's definitely not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, oh my god, I'm balding because I'm trans. Oh my god, I'm short, and that's because I'm trans. Now, yes, okay, I'm going to admit it. I do this all the time about everything related to my body and how I socialize and interact with other people. Yes, it happens. I admit it, I do it, I still do it. Even though I'm making this video, it's a process. So, what do? I say, oh my god, if I wasn't trans, I wouldn't be short. I wouldn't be losing my hair. I wouldn't, all of these little things, I wouldn't have small feet. It wouldn't be so hard for me to shop for clothes, especially pants, where I can only go to H&M and the pants that I like don't exist anymore, and I want to knife emoji people. Okay. So when I say that, I imagine myself as a cis guy. If I wasn't trans, I'd be a cis guy. But there's two sides to this story, and it kind of works out, but it kind of doesn't. So on one side, if I wasn't trans, I wouldn't blah blah, so I would be a cis guy. But there are a lot of cis guys who lose their hair even before they're 24. There's a lot of cis guy who start thinning hair stuff. Also, my hairline looks really bad right now just because I'm doing it again, but don't look. A lot of cis guys are short, a lot of them have hips. It's not all cis guys, but it's when you see them, not that you should point, oh my god, I'm horrible, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying that there are cis guys, okay? People who are not trans, men who are not trans. They have a body that looks like this. Some even shorter than me, some have less hair, some have acne and that I don't have, you know, and they're cis. So that's one side of the story. Now the other side is if I wasn't trans, am I talking about if I would have stayed female? I don't like saying it like that, but for the sake of simplicity, that's just a weird no concept to me. It sounds weird and it feels weird because if I didn't transition, I wouldn't be here right now. You know what I'm saying? You get the hint, hashtag knife emoji on myself. Oh my god, that trigger warning. Sorry, I did not mean it like that. I'm just saying I was very depressed before I transitioned. So if I wasn't trans and if I never transitioned and decided to just I'm gonna live with myself like this, I can do it. Well, I couldn't have done it because I wouldn't have emotionally been able to do it and things would have happened, is what I'm trying to say. So if we don't even think about that side and we just go to the I should have been born a cis male side, but I'm trans and this is bullshit and this is happening to me, I have to deal with being trans and all of this stuff because I'm trans, that's where I have started to switch it up and just be no, because this also happens to cis guys. Can I also just say, it's not funny, haha, but it was a cis guy that made me realize that, stop blaming that on being trans. A lot of cis guys have that, and I think that I needed that, a big slap in the face, because I was angry. I was don't fuck it, you don't know my trans experience. You know how we do. But then I was I stopped for a second and I was fuck, it's true. I do that all the time. And I know so many people who do it, and so many people who say it. I'm on I don't know, 98 Facebook groups for trans people, mostly trans guys. Actually, let's say in 98 groups, 95 of them are for trans guys only. I'm kidding, I'm not on that many groups, maybe 50, for real. And I see a lot of posts oh, I wish I wasn't trans, I wouldn't have to deal with my height being like this. But yes, as trans people, we have to deal with a lot of shit. It sucks. Having to transition and having people name you and gender you and pronoun you correctly, it sucks, and that cis guys don't have to deal with that. That we can basically because that's a very trans experience thing. But saying my hair wouldn't fall out as fast if I was just born cis is bullshit. saying I would have been taller if I was born cis because my whole family is tall. Bullshit. Saying, oh, my whole family has big feet, or some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, at least I would have had bigger feet. Like, come on, I have very small feet. Anyways, all of this stuff happens to cis guys. Like, it does. Some cis guys are like super short, even though their families are like giants and like 6'5". It happens. Some cis guys have hips and they were born with hips, and it's hard for them to go shopping, and they probably can't even fit in H&M. So at least we have that. I don't mean it like, no, okay, that sounded bad. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Even like trans guys who are like, oh, I wish I had more facial hair. My facial hair is like growing in so short, small. Like, come on, we all know some cis guys who like cannot grow a beard or even a mustache. It comes in so patchy that they just have to shave and baby face all the time. Some cis guys like look super young because they can't grow facial hair, like us. Like right before we start to transition, we look like we're 12 even though we're like 40. Like, it just, I don't know. I'm like, promise you, I promise, okay, I promise you that I'm not trying to be like, you need to stop thinking like that, you need to start thinking like this. No, I can't even, like, it's still hard for me to not, it's not like blaming everything on being trans, but like, I think that's the easiest, like, thing that I could say to describe it. But I think, like, adapting a new mind frame about the idea, like, yeah, we're trans, and it sucks a lot of the time because we have to deal with like all this like bullshit and like society, and like it's really hard for me to like socialize and like be friends with like cis guys because like I was never socialized male. I don't know how to like interact. The only references I have are from like high school and like from seeing and observing men and like TV. Like, those things are not accurate to what society is. So now I like see how men like interact with each other, and I'm like trying to learn, but it's like no, I need to stop. Like, just interact like yourself. Like, there's no one way to interact with people, and even cis people have issues with like having male friends, and it's just like, it's normal thing. It's normal. It happens to everyone. And I feel like in the trans community, we're in this trans bubble, and it's fine. We're allowed to. We are literally so like oppressed by society, and people do not understand our experiences. So we create this community where we're only inside and we never look outside and like see like, oh, that also happens to other people. So like, I'm like slowly starting to get out of this bubble. I'm still in the bubble, but like I'm opening up the bubble and being like, look, cis people have these issues too, and it's fine, and I have these issues. So because I have realized that like, oh yeah, I've seen cis guys with bigger hips than I do. I've seen cis guys who like can't find pants that fit them, or who have gone bald at 24, or completely bald, and like can't grow facial hair and are very shorter than me, and I'm 5'6", have smaller feet than me, which is like very rare because I have very small feet. But in a way, it's made me feel so much better about myself, and that sounds really weird, and I hope that there's like not any cis guys who are like, oh, so you feel better because like you're you're taller or something like that. That's not what I mean. It's just because all of these things that we see men in society as like one image. We all do. They're always like tall, muscular, fit, muscular, same thing. White, straight, like super like masculine and like arrogant and stuff like that, and like make friends, but like bro and stuff like that's what we see as men. And like, I'm not saying that that's the ideal, but I'm saying that like this is what society is like showing us what men are supposed to be like. We all have this view, and like in the trans community, when we're like slowly starting to realize that we're trans, we realize we're supposed to be that image right there, that tall blah blah. So we aspire to be that, and we know we can go on hormones, we can have like top surgery, bottom surgery if we want, if that's the transition path that you're on, but there's certain things that we'll never be able to attain. We'll never be able to be, if you're like not 6'1" already, you'll never be 6'1". If you have small feet, you'll never have bigger feet. Like, there's certain things that you cannot physically change about your body, and it makes us depressed and like still think like, oh, but there's still things that I can do to like, and like, we can't though. And it's very depressing, and it took me a long time to realize that like, I am never gonna get taller, which is fine. I've accepted my height. I'm very happy with my height now. I have no complaints about it. My feet size, still a bit like, because it's hard for me to shop for shoes, but, you know, I'll deal with it. I'll just wear shoes that are just a little bit too big for me. wearing pants. Like, it's just all of these things that I know I'll never be able to change, but I've like grown to accept them. The thing that I'm still having problems with though, like how long is this video? Okay, just making sure it's like 19 minutes or something. The thing that I still have issues with is my hair, and I know it happens to cis guys. I keep trying to tell myself that, but it's like the one thing that I just can't, because I feel like there are things that I could do about it to fix it. Like, I'm on finasteride, and it's like Propecia, but it's like the no-name brand, so it's a lot cheaper. But like, I've been on it for like a couple of months. Like, I don't know, I think it's like helped reduce the hair coming out, but I don't think like my hair has actually grown in that area. Oh my god, I can't look, it hurts. I just need to accept it. There's nothing I can do about it. And in my head, I'm like, oh, but when I'm older, I could just get like hair transplants. Oh my god, it's giving me so much anxiety now, like thinking about losing my hair. But you see what I mean? This anxiety right here is not only happening to trans guys, it's also happening to cis guys. I know some cis guys who are like my age and are dealing with this, and it like gives them anxiety because they don't want to lose their hair. Why? Because society only sees men as like long, luscious and thick hair that like never has a receding hairline and like looks great and like perfect facial structure. And like when you don't have that, it makes everybody feel like shit, not just trans guys. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. I don't want to make this video like 19 years long because I want people to actually watch it. If I forgot anything, I'll put it in the comments, but hope in the little description. Hopefully it made a little bit of sense, because like I think it's like really important that we have this conversation. But yeah, let's talk about it, and if you have any questions, let's just like talk. And if anybody wants to help me with the captioning of this video or any other videos, please email me. We can do it in chunks. You don't have to do the entire video because that takes forever. You can do like 3 minutes, someone else can do 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever. And also I'm back from Utah. It was awesome. I'll make a video about that later. Bless, have a great week. Woo!